Galin here with the Chatham Journal, and I am with the new Northwood football coach, Mr. Cullen Homolka. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
He just started what, a couple of months ago?
Actually, I started this is my third week.
Third week. All right. So we're going to ask him some questions. Coach had a meet and greet with the students and parents here at Northwood just a little bit. He went through a whole bunch of stuff. We'll have that video available on YouTube and probably some stuff on our Facebook page as well as the website. Now, you come from Clayton High School, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you were the offensive coordinator there?
Correct. Yep.
All right. Tell us about why you just decided to leave Clayton and why you decided to come here to Northwood.
Well, we played Northwood in the playoffs in 2017 in the first round, and you saw the talent they had on the field and all those things. So they were a great team then. And, you know, when I saw the opportunity come, I had to jump on it. But obviously, it was hard leaving Clayton. The people there are awesome. I enjoyed working for Coach Jinks. He taught me a lot about being a head coach and all those things. So I thought it was my time to go do it myself and see what kind of program I could develop, and I think this is a perfect opportunity to go do that.
Okay, now you have been a head coach in Ohio, is that correct?
Yeah, I was a head coach for a short stint in one season, but we did some great things while we were there. We made the playoffs for the first time in a while. I don't know the exact stats on it, but it was a playoff bid against we played a team that was really good the first round, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But it was fun. I had a lot of kids buy in there, and I started with 22 kids and ended up with like 40-some kids on the team. So, it was a great experience, a great learning experience that I definitely enjoy and always look back on.
Now, when you were there, as a head coach, you concentrated more on defense because you had a good offensive coordinator.
I did. I had an offensive coordinator there that hopefully comes with me here. He's an incredible offensive coordinator that I would love to bring with me here, and he gave me no concerns offensively where I could focus all my attention to defense and special teams.
Okay. So when coming from an offensive coordinator as a head coach for your defense, so you pretty much have both sides of the ball covered.
I've done everything. If you pointed at an area in football, I've tried it.
Okay. Hey, that can be a good thing. Now, when you were in Ohio, you said you folks did, let's see, you led the Fairland High School Dragons to the 2013 Ohio Valley Conference Championship and also Bertha in Ohio Division V playoffs.
Correct.
Now, you mentioned in the meet and greet with the parents that at that point you opted to leave, which is a little bit unusual for a coach to leave after just a year.
It wasn't, I took the job at the time. I thought that was where I needed to be. It was a situation where my wife and I were about to have, we did at the end of that season have my son Ritter. And I just wasn't in a financially well off, I guess, with that position to where, and working for Coach Dorn, I loved doing it at NIU. And when he called me and gave me the opportunity to come work from an NC State, and we love Raleigh, I just couldn't tell him no. And that's a real reason why. And I did love being a head coach there, but unfortunately, financially, we thought it was best if I took this opportunity and, better for our family and all that stuff. So.
Okay. And you've got 3 kids, what, boy, girl, boy?
I got 2 boys and a girl, two older ones. One's in college, one's a senior at Leesville High, and then my youngest is a 5-year-old at Frankie Lemon. So.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
And you mentioned you went to work for Coach Dorn. For those of you I know you guys all know this. He's over at NC State, and you went over there in 2014 as Director of Player Personnel. What did you learn during that time with Coach Dorn that you feel you can bring to the table here at Northwood?
I'll say this is my situation there was so much different than any other time I ever coached in my life. I was really removed from the field. I was more of behind the scenes. I was really behind a desk, and so I really got to watch high school football all day, every day.
Okay.
And that's really where I got more of my mind. And so I could sit there and I really could start picking out kids and what they're doing here, and then you start noticing the whole scheme of what they're doing, and then you start watching films of teams that are traditionally powerhouses, and they always have Division I or kids on it. You start seeing what they're doing and how consistent they are in what they do. So if there's something I could take from it on that part of it, would be just my overall evaluation of how a high school program should be run and how the little things matter, and you don't need to do a ton to win.
Right.
And then, you know, from Coach Doran's perspective, just his organization. He's always on. He always knew what you were supposed to do, and he always knew where you're supposed to be. And I thought he did great with managing the players. They loved playing for him, and I always thought he treated his staff awesome. So if there's something I can take from, I think the whole picture of what he does is really, you know, I want to reflect that in my own philosophy here.
So it sounds like you were involved in the recruiting portion as well at State.
Yeah, that's really director of player personnel. That was kind of I wasn't the recruiting coordinator, but I was the one that would sit there and try to find talent while they were trying to get ready for a game.
Gotcha.
So
one of the things you mentioned in your meet and greet is that if you have a player and a player and his parents who feel that, hey, this my son could be playing at a higher level in college, you said you're willing to help him get to that point, and pretty
absolutely.
much. What do you see, and you mentioned this in the meet and greet, what do you see as the important elements for someone who plays for you and then wants to play in college? What do they need to do to be, follow that path to success?
Hopefully they have a great work ethic. I mean, because if you want to play college football, great work ethic is everything. And they have to have a love for the game. Like if they want to just go play college football to say they play college football, the writing's on the wall. You see that as a coach. Because their love for the game at the high school level probably isn't as high as it should be.
Right.
But if the kid believes, and he's always around, he's always asking questions, he's always in the weight room, he's always trying to work to make himself a better player, I'm going to help that kid. Right. There's no question about it. Why not? They're fun to be around. They're fun to work with. They're, when you're going to put a stamp on a kid, you want to put a stamp on their character and how hard they work. And I think that's, as a college coach, that's what they want to hear too. So.
And I think one of the things too that you mentioned, and some coaches kind of emphasize, hey, it's all Division I or nothing else. But you seem to imply that, hey, maybe the right fit for you isn't Division I. It might be Division II and Division III. So
yeah, I don't want to label a kid on the level, but I do believe there's a place for every kid. You look at some states where they got more universities they know what to do with, and every one of them has a football program. Like my home state, they got tons of football programs, and there's a place for every kid. If they want to go play college football, there's an opportunity there. And so I believe in this state too, the D3 programs are awesome. And so if a kid wants to go play and hopefully he has the athletic ability to go do it at that level, then I'm going to help him do it.
Now you grew up in Kansas, went to high school in Kansas, and you were running back on Kansas.
I was a fullback.
Fullback, okay.
Yeah, I was basically a pulling guard in the backfield. I don't think you would label me a running back.
Well, I must have gotten my information wrong, but
right.
That's okay.
Right. They labeled it that, but I'd be honest, I don't know if I touched the ball once at Kansas.
Actually, you've touched it several times. I looked up your stats.
Garden City.
You did touch it. And actually, the other thing, too, is you mentioned success in Ohio. You were co-coach of the year in 2013. So
yeah, I had a few accolades, it was an experience. I think there's 3 or 4 things I was able to do, and I was able to go coach in the North-South Ohio, or is it East-West Ohio All-Star game, and I didn't get to do that because I took the job at NC State, but that would have been a great experience. So, yeah, I was given. It was an incredible experience. I actually, leaving there and leaving Clayton were probably the 2 hardest things I ever had to do. Telling the kids and just being honest with them, and leaving was difficult at those 2 places.
Right.
And that sucked, but sometimes you just got to move on to see what you can do somewhere else and see who else you can help and be more impactful somewhere else. Maybe help, like a program like this. I hate to see an area that's been successful in football not be successful, and if I can go help them do that, then I feel like I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's kind of why sometimes you move on.
What do you see at Northwood that is kind of like, hey, here's the potential I see, here's what we can work on, and what are the things that situationally you need to work on improving a whole bunch?
Improving a whole bunch, I don't know what to say there. I mean, probably football knowledge is always something you can improve on. Football technique, different stuff like that. But really, the culture is what you're trying to build your culture. And so I'm a guy I'm a grinder. I'm gonna show up early and leave late, and we're going to work hard, and we're going to be in the weight room, and we're going to be on the practice field, and we're going to learn and do all those things appropriately to be successful there. Give me the rest of that question again.
No, it was, what are you seeing? Well, it's like one of those job interview questions. What's the strengths and weaknesses that you see?
Well, coming in here, I'll tell you this much: we got athletes, and we got size. We got everything. We got every piece of the puzzle that we can be successful with. Now, do we have a ton of depth right now? That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. Anybody that's watching, encourage the kids to come out, because I'd love them to be a part of the team any way possible. Managers, even on down from there. So we need them all. And once we start building depth, they'll see more and more success. But there's no question we can go out and be successful this next season. We have all the talent in the world to do it. It's just getting the kids out there, getting them out there on a regular basis, and that's where we're working right now, is to change that culture, get them in the weight room, get them around me more, get them around the idea of learning more about football, what it takes to be successful, those things.
That leads into my next question. You stated this quote, be simple and try not to complicate the game. What exactly do you mean by that?
Oh, well, it's amazing. So I've seen it and the most successful, if you go watch like Alabama play football, right? Everybody's like, how do they do it? I'll see it. I don't know how he does it. Nick Saban's a genius, obviously. But I will say offensively, they do some stuff that anybody can do. And it's not overthought. Now, do they do some great things that probably really mess with the safeties' reads or linebackers? Probably. They probably do a lot. I've never broke their offense that completely, but the obvious stuff is they love to run power. And power is a play anybody can run. And we're going to run power here, and we're going to be great at it. Inside zone, they run inside zone just as good as anybody. We're going to run inside zone. I'm very honest about those. It's going to be pretty obvious once you see us do our jamboree. We're going to get successful at those type of things, and those aren't hard to teach. It just takes a lot of reps, a lot of doing it over and over and over again to get very good at it. And so that's what I say. You don't have to be complicated, and you can keep it simple. And there's a lot of different things you can do that are very successful things that don't take a lot of thought. It just takes a lot of reps.
Right.
And that's where we got to get. We just got to rep the stuff over and over again to get good at it. We don't need to keep adding and adding and adding. We just got to get good at a few things and figure out ways to put a little window dressing to make it look different.
That leads into the next question. And you brought this up in the meet and greet with the parents. Basically, you feel that developing off-season program that involves weight training and conditioning is very important to the success of a team. Can you elaborate on that more and mention some of the stuff that you're planning to do or have started doing here in Northwood to accomplish that?
Yeah, obviously this first day I was here, I met with as many players as I could, and I said the weight room's open at 7 a.m., and I hope most of you guys can be there. And for the most part, I've had success in the weight room already. So the young kids are buying in. I got freshmen and sophomores that are going to be rising, sophomores and juniors, that are coming in most mornings and lifting with me. And so they understand that if they, and I feel like some have already seen that it's helping them. And I've got some kids coming in the afternoon doing the same thing. So the weight room is open to them. I do believe that. And conditioning, I think, if you don't have those two elements going into fall camp, we're going to be behind big time. Right. If you go back to where I was, and Coach Dinks, what he's doing there, he's got a program there that's, first class in that regard. I mean, nobody's probably outworked them in the entire triangle.
Right.
So, if I can, replicate that here in the next couple months, then I think we're on to something big.
Last year, Northwood was 4-6. They're in the Big 8, which is a 3A conference. I believe Clayton was 3A as well.
Correct.
What's your sense of the overall conference? I mean, a couple schools dropped their varsity programs, but what's your feeling overall of the whole conference at Northwood?
I think there's some talent in the Durham area. And, obviously Northern Durham did great last year, and thank God Hillside's not, because they were a beast. But, Southern Durham's always got athletes, so there's no question every game's going to be a challenge. Do I feel like we can go into every game and be successful? Absolutely. Do I overlook an opponent? Never. We're gonna out, try to do our best to out-coach them and out-athlete them and do our thing out there to be successful. So that would obviously be a huge goal for us to get those things done.
Right. During, again, meet and greet, you mentioned that you're going to run whatever offense and defense works for you. So it sounds like you have a bunch of flexibility. Do you have any taste right now as to, because I think in Ohio you did a open run, open.
Yeah, we're pretty wide open. We spread it out a lot.
Right.
And, and the concepts we're going to bring will be similar. We're going to do a lot of, depending on the type of talent we have. So if we got some bigger bodies that can run, obviously we're going to put some tight ends in the game. If we got a lot of just athletes, and I know we have some receivers. If anybody came and watch basketball team this year, we have some dudes that are going to come out, and hopefully I can get them the ball. And I know I have a quarterback that can throw a little bit. So we'll spread it out. If we have to do that, we will. But obviously everything will be based off the run game, and we'll work from there.
It was interesting because as I was watching people come in, one of the things one of the moms mentioned was that you're known for not having a smartphone.
Yes. Well, I'll be honest, this is pretty recent. I had a smartphone for a while. I can't say I didn't. But I've realized not having one has actually simplified a lot of things. I don't worry about the stupid stuff anymore, and I worry about what matters. So it's helped me focus in on what matters, and when I'm home, I'm not on my phone in front of my son, and I think that's important.
Well, getting back to what matters, any successful program also has to have a whole bunch of community involvement, community contribution. What kind of things are you hoping to get from the Northwood community, the Chatham County community, to help you reach that pathway to success with the team?
First thing is I just need to get more involved. Hopefully I can get more involved through community outreach and all that stuff myself to where I can get to know them. And then, hopefully with success brings interest. And this first year might be a slow process, but I think we're going to see success early, and hopefully that brings the community closer together. And if there's one thing I learned when I was in Ohio, that was I still think about that and brings chills. What I did around there was fun, and that community came together through success, through belief in what we were doing. And it wasn't that we did anything complicated. We just outworked them. We had fun doing it. The kids loved being there. I hope I bring that same thing to this, because with it, I think those kids start talking, and that community starts coming together, and it'll be a positive outlook on it all. I don't want a negative outlook on our football program, and hopefully the kids carry themselves in a professional manner to where the young kids want to come up here and play at Northwood, and they all talk about it, and that's the ultimate goal.
Now, you mentioned you live in Raleigh, or
I live right outside by the airport.
Oh, okay, so it's not a long commute.
No,
it's
easy to get here.
Yeah, it's just right down the road.
Exactly.
You mentioned fundraising. If anybody's watching this, what would be the first thing you'd like them to contribute to be able to upgrade or get your? What do you need? What are your priorities?
I walked around out there, and obviously I would like to upgrade some of the practice stuff we have. Like our 5-man sled needs reconditioned, stuff like that, and then maybe add a couple racks in the squat room or in the weight room, squat racks and all that stuff, just to get more kids in there lifting at one time. Those are some ones I noticed right now, and then the football office is obviously upgraded, but I think what the players got going on matters more, and I can upgrade the football office probably on my own a little bit as I go.
Okay, folks, you heard that, and I know there's folks in the community that love to help out, and I've seen what you've done with the baseball facilities here. I've seen what you've done with the softball facilities out here. So look, the coach needs some assistance. He wants to get some more or upgraded football practice equipment, as well as racks for his weight room. Anything else? Hey, since we're talking wish list, what else?
Well, heck, everybody has a wish list now. A wish list can go miles along now. No, I'm not as I go, I'll figure that out. But I've got out a lot of stuff, and I've got rid of a few things and all that stuff. But we're on the right path here, and I don't think that a bunch of glitz and glamour is going to get it done. It really, right now, is, if you're listening, getting those kids out here to play for me, getting them to know me, and I think we go from there.
Right, and one of the things Coach also mentioned is academics as a priority. What was your top goal on the academic side?
Highest GPA in the conference.
Highest GPA in the conference. So, folks, not too many coaches, high school coaches, will say that kind of stuff. So
it's possible.
It is possible. We can do it in this county. And look, come out, watch the Chargers play in the fall. I guess Jamboree will be sometime in August.
Yeah, I think it's the 16th.
Okay, and Coach has got a lot of good plans. We're not going to reiterate everything Coach mentioned in the meet and greet. Take a look at that. Coach's email address. Take a look at the video. I'll post it on the bottom of this video. You can email him, see what kind of assistance he needs, what kind of help he can provide. If you got a kid in Northwood, hey, you know what? I'm a firm believer that sports is important and also turns boys into men, and it's also something that keeps a lot of kids in school and makes them successes in life. So anything else you'd like to say to close out, Coach?
No, I look forward to meeting everybody and go Chargers.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.